Hey everyone, today we're going to take a look at this pack that I've been testing out over the whole summer. Got several trips under my belt with it, which I'll leave links to down below for the trips that I've done so you can check it out. This is the REI Flash 45 backpack, and REI markets it as basically like an ultralight backpack that doesn't sacrifice too many of the comforts of a traditional pack, which I think is pretty accurate. We'll go through the specs really quick just because we got a lot to talk about and that's kind of boring, but the main compartment is all one solid piece. It doesn't have a sleeping bag pocket or anything like that. It does have a hydration sleeve in there, but really just one large stuff from the top loading pocket. You've got a pocket up here in the top of the lid, and there's also one up underneath, so two pockets in the lid, hip belt pockets on either side, and then one of the nice features I really like is this big mesh pocket that goes all the way around with this elastic band, so you can stuff wet gear in there, or items that you want to access quickly, like maybe your rain jacket if it's raining off and on. Just take it off, stuff it right in there. You don't have to undo all your straps and everything, and that'll carry real nice. The rain comes back and just pull it right out, and that's great. You can put your water bottles in the side of this pocket here, either side, and I can access the water bottles while I'm with the pack on. So that's nice. I don't have to take the pack off to drink. The lid is removable. You can and it also floats up, so you can stuff some gear underneath, which I've done. It's got lots of lash points on it on the lid here, a couple here on the front, and then some on the bottom, which you see this orange cordage I added on to the lash point, so I can put a tent or something like that underneath it there. And then one last thing we'll talk about is just the frame. It is like a traditional pack, does have a frame, unlike some of the other ultralight packs you might have heard of that are frameless. It's got an aluminum hoop that runs from about here over the top to the other side, and then it has Delrin poles that go down and anchor into the hip belt right down here. You do get great load transfer with this. REI recommends 30 pounds as the maximum load. I've loaded it up to 30 pounds and it carried just fine, and it did put the weight on my hips where I wanted it, so that was really good. And then it also has two attachment points on either side for tools, so you can do ice axe or trekking poles with a loop on the bottom and then a bungee up top. The padding on it, because it is an ultralight pack, is pretty minimal, but in my opinion, not too minimal. You've basically got some mesh covering some perforated foam, and then the back, as opposed to the frame system, also has kind of a semi-rigid, you can kind of see a semi-rigid foam covered in mesh. I find it to be pretty comfortable. You do have to watch how you pack the pack. If you put like a really rigid item in there, it will bulge out, but if you pack it smart, it stays nice and flat, really comfortable. So that kind of goes through all the features of the pack. For me, I love it. It's been great. I've used it on an overnighter or 2 nights. You can cinch it down well enough to become a day pack. You've got compression straps on the top and on either side, so it'll cinch down just fine for a day trip. For me, the major selling point of this pack, and what I would recommend it for, is REI's basically made this pack, and it competes really well with the specs of the other really popular packs, such as maybe a ULA Ohm or a ULA Circuit or a Gossamer Gear Gorilla, kind of the cottage manufacturers that make really nice high-end ultralight packs. But REI has this one come in for about $100 less than any of those options. And the weight is competitive with them as well. Mine weighs 35.6 ounces. Like I said, if you remove the lid, you can shave off 3.6 ounces and get it down to 32 ounces without the lid. Cost $129 is MSRP. Now to compare, the ULA Ohm costs $200, weighs 29 ounces. The ULA Circuit costs $225 for 39 ounces, but has a little bit bigger capacity, so it's not quite apples to apples. And then the Gossamer Gear Gorilla costs $225 as well for a 28 ounce pack. So here you're, competitive within those ranges for within a couple ounces, and up to $100 less. So that's what's really attractive about it to me. I would recommend this pack for kind of 3 different situations. Number one, which is kind of who fits my description, if you're a backpacker who's kind of transitioning into lighter weight equipment, but you're not quite ready to commit to an ultralight pack that maybe a frameless pack. You're a little worried about that. I don't think I'll ever get down to a true ultralight loadout where my base weight's 10 pounds or less, just because that's just my style. And this pack is great. Like, it carries my gear comfortably, but it's also very lightweight, somewhat minimalist, but you still keep the comforts. Another recommendation is if you're already a lightweight hiker or an ultralight hiker, it's just a great all-around pack for anybody, carrying up to 30 pounds. It does great. And then I'd also recommend it if you're a lightweight backpacker or an ultralight backpacker on a budget, because like I said, you can get a backpack here that weighs comparable to what the big competitors weigh, but it'll save you around $100, which $100 can buy a lot more gear. So in my opinion, REI Flash 45, solid pack. There are 2 complaints I have with it. I like to always include a couple negatives. One is that if you have your water bottles tucked in here, this elastic will kind of keep them secure, but it's not as good as having, like a stretchy mesh pocket. I've had my water bottles in here where I have the pack on my back and I lean forward like so, maybe to tie my shoe or something, and my water bottles will slip out. So it's not a big deal, but just something to keep in mind. And then I will ding REI on this for the fit and finish, because my pack in particular, let me just show you real quick. Here in the lumbar area, you see this little piece of foam here that shouldn't be there. It's a punch out from one of these holes up here where it must have kind of dangled on, and then when they overlaid the mesh on top, it got stuck in there. So this little guy here is not supposed to be there. It's just a little piece of foam. I've never felt it. I actually didn't even notice it until I got the pack out to do this video. But I mean, that kind of stuff is really unacceptable from, especially from anybody, to have, little things like that. Like I said, it's not a problem. I won't be returning the pack over it, but REI, we deserve better than that. But otherwise, highly recommend the pack. It's awesome. Let me know if you guys have any questions. And like I said, I've put some links below in the description for some trips that I've done with it. I think I'm confident enough to say I have enough experience with it to consider this a long-term review, and I really like it. It'll be coming with me on many more trips to come. So let me know if anybody has any questions. Thank you guys for watching. Have a happy holiday and a happy new year.